Hey y'all, so I want to spend a few minutes here just talking about step ups and then just why some people choose to kind of pick the corner of the box here. So if I'm doing step ups, I'll actually do them from this side here. I've got to put my leg up to get it on top of the box, so you can just kind of see the amount of hip flexion that I need to get my leg up on the box means I need a full range of motion of the hip. So whenever we're seeing people have issues squatting and we start seeing that kind of reversal, we start seeing that they're real tight in that, and they don't have full range of motion of that hip flexing. So what we should see is that when we're nice and tight, we get a nice 120-degree angle there. Most people, when we test this out, they're stuck kind of at the 90 mark. So what happens is as we're doing step up, especially as the boxes get higher and higher, they don't have the range of motion. They run into their hip, literally bone on bone. So they don't have the range of motion, so they end up having to lean and do all of these really, really weird things to get up into the position. So it ends up having a lot of weird workarounds. So what the corner of the box does is now I don't need as much range of motion. So you can see I can get my foot up on the box, and you can see the difference where this one I had to go up and over. I need more range of motion than I need if I'm just going from the corner. So because this allows me to stick my foot out further, we're going to be able to use we don't need as much range of motion of the hip. So that's why people go to the corner. So as they're stepping up, they just come up from that corner and then they can go back down, and this kind of helps the way down too because we're kind of going through the box. So if you're someone struggling with tight hips, that's something to keep in mind, especially on box jumps too. I don't really like jumping out the corner, just a little too scary. But if you're someone who jumps up on the box and then steps down and you're catching yourself doing weird things, you might want to mess with jumping up on the box and stepping down on these corners. That way it's going to give you a little more room for the hip. So remember, these should be short-term band-aids. This shouldn't be every time for the rest of your life you're doing step-ups or box jumps or using the corner, because we should be prioritizing working on that hip flexion and actually getting it around, getting that full 120 degrees range of motion that we're looking for that'll resolve this problem. But something to think about, and then if you're on the competitive side, even if you do have the full range of motion, for doing a bunch of step-ups, it's just easier and a little faster this way. So that's why you might choose the corner of the box to step up versus the edge. Out in the real world, sometimes you don't have those choices, so we need to be able to do both of them. So that's another thing to keep in mind with your training. All right, hope that helps. Talk to y'all soon.